Hey guys, I got another Aperture tutorial for you here. This one's going to be using luminance curves in Aperture to create a white background for product photography. Now, if product photography done correctly with correct lighting, you don't usually need to do that much post-production, but you always need some post for photos, especially for professional work. Not only that, if you're doing product photography on the cheap and you didn't get the greatest lights in the world and didn't have the best setup in the world, this technique is going to be imperative to you. One of the things that you try to do and you read about when you do cheap product photography is to overexpose the image. That gives you kind of a washed out look, but you get a white background. If you take a shot with the white exposed completely out, then you don't have to really do much work in post, except your image looks like ass. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take an image that was taken on the cheap for product photography and figure out how to white out the background. Now, we're not going to cut out the image because that takes a long time, and because we do want some shadow of the image. If you look at a lot of product photography for at least our kind of stuff, what we're doing here for technology, there still is some shadows for the products. And when I'm not cutting out shadows, that would take too long. So, what we're going to do is start off with an image like this. It was taken with the incorrect white balance, with some hard lighting. So, let's take a look. Here's first, we're going to look at the final product, which is going to be this. This is the final product. It's the same image that you just saw, only you can see it's completely white in the background, some of the shadows kept, and we have a nice image on it. So let's learn how to do that. Starting off, we're going to adjust our white balance. We're going to use Aperture's auto white balance to tell it what we think white should be. So we're going to grab our color picker, and we're going to drop right here and say that's what white should be. Now that's not completely white, actually. We can actually grab our color meter, so we take digital color meter, and we can actually inspect the page, and we're looking for 255s all the way across the board. And you can see that I actually don't have pure white anywhere. So we know that we need to do some work. Now, one more check you can do is drag the image from Aperture right into Chrome, and you can see that our edge, we have an edge, and we don't want an edge at all. If you can see from this image, there's zero edge. You can't tell a difference. That's what we want to do here. So, how do we make this white without affecting our image? Now, one thing people could do is they could take the image here and they could completely expose it. They could say, yeah, let's do that. Now we have complete white. So if we were to take our color meter and check it out, you can see, yeah, I've got complete white, but my image looks like ass. So we don't want to do that. So let's undo that back to 0. Cool. So what we do want to do, though, is use luminance curves to achieve the same effect, but only on the white. We actually can control just the white and not touch the monitor. So we're going to add adjustment, curves. We're going to choose our little gear here and choose linear and luminance. Now yours is going to start off on normal here, and if you're shooting raw, then you can actually change this to extended. Before I do that, though, I want you to notice this top piece right here. This bar, the histogram, is our whites, and you can see our image actually cuts right through that. So what we want to do is actually raise our dot above that line. So we're going to change it to extended so we can see above it, and we're going to take our line, our dot, and move it above the line, just like that. Now that once we've done that, you can see our image really isn't affected. But if we take our color meter and check our corners, you can see we're at 255 across the board now, even in the corners here. Check that out. And our image wasn't really affected. Now, if let's say our image was affected a little bit, because this basically takes the brights and makes them brighter. If there were some brights in the image, what we can do is we can actually pull down in the center of our curve and increase the contrast there. And it's not really not increasing the contrast, it's actually bringing the luminance of those shadows down more, because at the left side we have shadows, at the right side we have highlights. So we're color curving here, we're luminance curving. So we're taking our shadows and bringing them down a little bit and taking our highlights and blasting them out. And you can see that we have pure white here, and if I drag that to the browser, you can see, boom, we have a little bit of a line right here. Okay, we have a little bit of a line right here, so we didn't completely get it 100%. So, and we can prove that if we go to the color meter and check right up here. Yep, that's not completely white. Okay, so let's pull this up a little bit more and back, like that, and let's check it again. And there we go. We have completely made it white. So just a little bit of adjustment there. Now we're completely white around the edge. So we're going to throw a quick crop on it because we don't want the whole thing. And maybe you have specifications to crop to. That's fine. Crop that down. Now we're going to drag our image into Photoshop. I want to update. Okay. So now we have our image right here. And everything looks great. So now let's drag in a image to make it look cool. And this was a photo that I took like a month ago in Key West. So we're going to convert to Smart Object, and by doing that first, we can resize the image as much as we want, and it will retain its full integrity. Command T for transform, drag it into the corner here. Don't have to be perfect yet. We're going to zoom in a second. Holding Command, you can see the cursor changes to this little triangle. You can now free transform the corners into the location we want. So let's get it almost there. Hit enter, and now we're going to zoom in, holding spacebar to pan around our image, Command T, and then Command again, so I can move this around about there. Hold Command and move this way. Fix this line down here, right about there. Hold spacebar to drag around. We're going to check this corner, Command T, hold Command now. Spacebar, dragging over to this edge. Click Command T, holding Command key again. And now we'll zoom out, Command minus, and you can see we have a little sliver left here. So let's fix that down from this edge. Maybe like a notch, kind of like that. Okay, there's a little bit left, but I could spend more time if I wanted to, but I'm not going to because we're in a video. So you have a image with monitor. So you can go ahead and save that out. Save as. You're not saving as for web. You could if you wanted to, but that would compress it, and I want to do all my compression in Aperture. So we're going to programming. I'm going to export this out to my pictures folder, full quality, and then from our pictures folder, we can actually come right back in to Aperture and drag it back in. And now I've lost my place. That's fine. Okay, here's our place. I've done a couple versions of this video already. Here's the version that we just did. Boom, there it is. There's our monitor back in Aperture. And again, the old version, which is there, and our revert back to original. So you can see there's where we started, there's where we ended. We made that monitor look a lot better. So that's how you use luminance curves in Aperture to achieve a white background.